Congressional Capitals 18, the Walter Livingston House, the last capital of the United States in Congress assembled under the Articles of Confederation. Forced from New York City's Hall during its transformation into Federal Hall, Congress relocates to a far more modest setting, a private residence at 95 Broadway, the home of financier, sitting commissioner of the Board of Treasury, and former congressional delegate Walter Livingston. The Walter Livingston House stood on the west side of Broadway, next to Trinity Church at the southern section of Manhattan, the commercial and political center of the young republic. This was not a capital in any formal sense. It was a four-story residence already occupied by the national government's principal offices, the Departments of Treasury, War, and Foreign Affairs, with the latter being relocated there earlier in 1788. Now the house became something more, a temporary refuge for the Articles of Confederation's government, losing both its authority and coherence. On October 6, 1788, Congress formally vacated Old New York City Hall, removing to 95 Broadway. Only 6 states were represented, one short of the 7 required under the Articles of Confederation to conduct business. A quorum was finally achieved at the Livingston House on October 8th, and Congress resumed limited activity. Virginia Delegate Henry Lighthorse Harry Lee immediately introduced a resolution concerning the naval officer Musco Livingston, which was adopted notwithstanding prior resolutions. The Confederation Congress then reviewed Governor Arthur St. Clair's correspondence from the Northwest Territory, and on the following day, October 9th, the Congress passed a resolution settling a claim related to the United States National Lottery. This brief 2-day restoration of congressional function at the Walter Livingston House held promise, but it wouldn't last. On October 10th, Congress reconvened, but the attendance remained thin and unstable with a quorum of only 7 states with 2 or more delegates. 5 states had 1 delegate, but Georgia, that delegation was absent entirely. With representation deteriorating and business increasingly untenable, the Confederation Congress addressed what would become its final matter: land bounties for officers of the late Continental Army. A motion to withhold warrants from officers who had failed to account for public funds was introduced, debated, and ultimately defeated. Congress then adjourned. From November 1788 through January 1789, efforts were made, pursuant to the Articles of Confederation, to convene the 9th United States in Congress assembled at the same location. These efforts failed. The Confederation Congress never achieved the 7-state quorum required to conduct the business of the United States of America. As recorded by Secretary Charles Thomson in the journals, delegates appeared intermittently, but never in sufficient number to constitute a functioning body. From October 11, 1788, the national government entered a state of procedural paralysis, existing in name but incapable of action, until its dissolution on March 3, 1789. With no quorum available to elect a successor, Cyrus Griffin's one term as President of the United States in Congress assembled expired on January 22, 1789. In the end, the Walter Livingston House was not a stage of triumph, but of transition. Here, the Confederation Congress did not formally dissolve. It just simply ceased to function, just blocks away from Federal Hall. On March 4th, 1789, a new United States government commenced. No longer a congressional capital, the Livingston House would continue to be utilized for the transformed U.S. Departments of Treasury and War until the federal government was relocated to Philadelphia in 1790. On December 7, 1789, Walter Livingston placed this ad in the New York Daily Advertiser. Quote, "To be sold, the house, number 95 Broadway, adjoining to Dr. Cochrane's. Its convenience for a genteel family and the goodness of its situation are too well known to need any description. Proposals will be received by the subscriber until the 15th of the present month." Walter Livingston's house did sell, and this rendering is a composite taken from various painted and engraved street scenes depicting certain portions of the house. Sadly, the Walter Livingston House, the last capital of the United States in Congress assembled under the Articles of Confederation, was torn down in the 19th century. This is Stanley Yabna Close, and with this 18th video, we now complete our archival series on the 11 Continental and Confederation Congressional capitals. Thank you for watching.